Okay, we should be live. Welcome to the stream. I've been running all over the place, so I don't have my stream monitoring up and running just yet. But my volume is off. That's really nice. You may have noticed from the title, it is indeed correct. The rumors are true, and Mrs. Bhirdietime has hit her first ace, and it's on camera. Coming later this month, it'll pop up on the channel, but I did film it. So I'm very, very happy about that. Very excited to show you guys that. Doc says, congrats to Mrs. Bhirdietime. Also, I guess, Brad, good on winning money in a tournament. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, so my tournament was kind of interesting, kind of crazy how it kind of came about because, long story short, the tournament that I played today was a point series finale that you had to qualify for by earning points throughout a series of tournaments. Well, it's ideal if you play for, 5, even 6 of the tournaments. I don't know if there were 5 or 6 actually. I played 2 of them, and I barely qualified as a reserve, but I got in off the reserve list and managed to be able to compete and win some money. So that was a huge blessing. I was really happy to be able to do that. Doc says, what did she hit it with? So it was a Discraft Glide. So it was the Glide. I think it's a 5.4 -3.1. I think is a Discraft Glide. It was not an Innova Dragon, although you will be very pleased to know that she did throw the Innova Dragon and kind of liked it. So, Doc, I'm sure that makes you very happy to hear that. I also threw the Innova Dragon. I did not throw it well, and I did not like it. There was also no water anywhere, so there was no reason to throw a disc that floats in the middle of the woods. It would have been very funny if she had ace with the dragon, though. That would have been really great. Okay. Doc says, I told you, for some people, the dragon just works. Well, it's lightweight and understable. At least the one that I have is very understable. So, yeah, it can function pretty well, for sure, especially for newer players. Let's see. So the Discraft Glide. Let's get the flight numbers here. Oh, say 6.5 -3.2. So it's pretty close. But it is a 6-speed. So 6.5 -3.2. And it has a pretty good flight to it. I definitely liked when I was throwing it a little bit. I like the sole just a little bit better. Even though it's a slower disc, the sole just kind of turns when I really want it to and has the flight path that I'm looking for. But the glide is extremely good as well. Oracle says, time for Mrs. Bhirdietime to take over the channel. That's probably for the best. It would probably, I'd get more viewers. I'd have more success on the channel. I think you're probably right. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I'm on your side. I would vote for that. I would vote for my position being usurped. That's definitely fine by me. So yeah, I was very happy to be able to take a little bit of money today because the last event that I played in, it just didn't go super well. Man, I am messing up the video all over the place. Okay, let's get that centered a little bit better. And like I said, I didn't cash in the last tournament that I played in. I missed the cash line by 1 stroke. And then today, I missed tying for first by 1 stroke and split cash with my brother, actually. We tied for second place. And so it was really nice to just kind of show up and play well. And I hadn't gotten any practice in at Kilbourne. So it was really like just show up at the course, get warmed up, and then just play like you know what you're doing. And I guess it worked out for the most part. Doc says, Brent and Mrs. Bhirdietime run the channel. Brad can do the camera work. Wow, okay. Rackle says 1,000%, and you can have an occasional cameo. Wow, thank you. That's very gracious. I'm glad that I would be permitted to show up on my channel every once in a while. I appreciate that a lot. Doc says, always need an April Fool's Day episode. Wow. Okay, I get it. I get it. I understand. I know what's happening here. It's fine. I've never been the favorite. It's no problem. I get it. I accept. My fate has been sealed. Rackle says Brad only gets to talk on stream when someone asks about the plates behind him. Oh my gosh. Wow, you guys have just the best ideas. Well, the bad thing is I would be talking constantly, but at least it's a good idea. Man, just a little bit off on the camera. Come on. Doc says, LOL, or that one guy who has a crush on Brad. There are a couple of very complimentary people. I still feel like they're people that know me and are just trying to mess with me. Like they're friends of mine who haven't told me yet that they're jumping into the stream and making weird comments. But I guess I don't really know. Rackle says, which one? I feel like I've seen a bunch of them. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. There's not all. This isn't true. Most people that come on the stream are trying to compliment Doc, and they just can't like see him, so they're trying to be really, really kind and really nice to him. Then every once in a while, somebody says my name, like they're talking to me, but I'm pretty sure it's people that know me and are just trying to mess with me. Are there multiple? I mean, I guess there's a few. Anyway, this conversation is really weird, but how are you guys doing? Anybody get any rounds in last week? I was able to play, was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. Man, it seems like a long time ago, but I was able to play yesterday, and I played a short layout and a long layout at a 9-hole course. And the long layout is very interesting. This is a first for me. This course has optional mandos. So you don't have to play the mandatory in hole 2. It just says optional mando. Like it's up to you. Do you want to go around to the left of the mando or not? So I said, no, I don't want to go around the mando. I'd like to just throw straight at the basket. So I eagled it. And then on hole 7, there's another optional mando. You can go straight through a double mando gap at the basket, or you can go way around the entire tree row and have no chance of eagle. So I chained out of the eagle putt because I went straight through the gap and took my birdie. I tied for the second best leaderboard score on that long 9 layout because the mandatories are optional. So I now have the second best score at Mars Bluff with the long pad layout, and I'm very excited to go back and eagle hole 2 and 7 and just get one more birdie and put up a 10 down through 9 for the best round that the course has ever seen, I guess. I'm sure somebody's done that in an 18-hole layout where they're playing the whole course on the scorecard as a full 18 or in some type of league or something like that. But for at least what's put on UDisc, I'm tied for the second best by 1 stroke at Mars Bluff. So that was pretty fun. And then I got out to Kilbourne today to be able to put 2 rounds in, and we played the short to short baskets and then short to long baskets. For the most part, I really like that layout, but with a little bit of rain today, the tee pads got really slippery. So my ankles are actually aching quite a bit from trying to keep my balance on the tee pad. I slipped a couple of times, nothing too bad, but a couple of guys had some like towels that they put down, and a couple of shots on a towel felt pretty good. So I ended up playing decently well. Doc says, when they announce you at the tournament, do they say sponsored by Infinite? Well, this was an unsanctioned tournament, and it was a shotgun start. So there were no announcements, nothing like that. But if I do get announced, I will try to make sure that I let them know that I am sponsored. I do have a sponsorship with Infinite. I don't know if they care or not, but I'll try to let them know for sure. Doc says, yeah, I got to play some Friday. Been dealing with some stuff for a while. Yeah, I know you've been sick. Though I would take out the zero gravity diamond, but that thing is still too flippy. Interesting. Zero gravity disc round would be fun to see who's got the best control of their throw. Yeah, that would be pretty fun. I have done a flippy versus beefy round, and my buddy Dakota had this idea, and he had a tilt and then a stego, and I don't remember what his putter was exactly, maybe a PA1 or something like that. And then I had a DX lightweight Rolo, DX lightweight Mamba, and a Mirage for my driver. Also DX and also lightweight. The Mirage, or sorry, the Mirage was the putter, not for the driver. And the Mirage was actually like a decent putter, but you had to be so careful with it because you get a little bit too much on it and the thing just drifts off to the right. Like it's very difficult to putt with control. But I had a lot of fun with that. I had a nice hyzer, just a high hyzer birdie with the Rolo. And like halfway there, it flips up to flat and then falls out of the sky by the basket. It was pretty great. Very fun, very difficult, but I do enjoy that sort of thing. Steph says, I want to see an albatross. I was joking about it today with the course that we were playing. One of the guys was trying to eagle everything that was potentially an eagle because he could do it. It's very difficult, but he could do it. And I was joking that he would just accidentally ace one of them for an albatross. But I do want to get the albatross on one of the Mars Bluff par fours. I do want to get that eagle because I don't think that I've technically eagled a par four yet. Or sorry, aced a par four yet. I think all my aces have been par threes. So that'd be pretty cool. I'd really like to do that. That'd be awesome. Stu says, now we need more optional eagles or birdies. Yes, you get to just choose. What do you want, an eagle or a birdie? Doc says, I'm sure Mrs. Bhirdietime will get one before Brad does. Well, that's great. Funny story as well because I have 0 aces this year so far. I have no aces. I have hit that basket. Okay. All right, guys. I should be back. Awesome. Yep, I saw that it was frozen for a second. I saw your comments. Thank you, guys. We're back. It's just really annoying when that happens, but there's something I can do. I don't understand why my video angle is just messing with me. Anyway, yes, so Mrs. Bhirdietime got the ace, and I have yet to ace this year. So I have no aces in 2026, and I've tried more times than she has to ace the hole that she aced. And I've hit the basket multiple times, hit the band, but no, I'm not jealous. I'm definitely not jealous. Okay. Doc says, always take more towels than you need. Well, I definitely always have towels, but I didn't have any for like, I don't like using my towels to put down at the end of the tee pad and step on. I've never really liked that. But one of the guys had a big towel. It was like a beach towel. So when you put it down, it's like the front third of the tee pad. So I was down for that. That actually really helped. I've never liked trying to put my foot on the little towel because I feel like if I hit it just wrong, that towel is just going to wrap around my foot and slip out from underneath me. But a bigger towel worked out great. Steph says, when they announce you, say your first name, the putt master, and then last name. Bradley, the putt master, Hendrick. Okay. Yeah, you would suggest that, Steph. I appreciate that. Doc says, zero gravity discs are between 110 and 120 grams. That's pretty light. My flippy round was mostly about 145 gram discs. Pretty light, but nothing like the 110 to 120. That's crazy. Lewis says, how do you make blueberry muffins? It's easy. You just take muffins, stick blueberries in them, and then bake them, and they become blueberry muffins. It's really like a life hack if you want to do that. Doc says, best way, go to Food Lion, buy some blueberry muffins. Lewis says, can you give me a step-by-step guide on how to make it with very little ingredients? I'm on a diet. I don't. Are you trying to put in like a chat GPT query and get a recipe back? Doc says, lost the signal. Okay, stream is frozen. And Lewis says, nah, he's just cutting out the AI instructions for blueberry muffins. Oh my gosh. Doc says, even YouTube doesn't want to hear about Brad's ace struggles. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess I'll just have to stop talking about it. Rackle says, it's good to have you back, Brad. The world was so lonely and full of people wanting to know about plates. Yeah, that's what happens as soon as I lose signal is people just start asking about plates for no reason. But I'm back. I can protect you guys. I can say, no, these aren't, which I probably will. Is it seriously messing up again? No, it's working. Wow, the stream quality is terrible. Ugh. Doc says, stuttering a bit. Are you running anything? I'm running nothing. There is a Michigan State game probably being run live downstairs. But I've got nothing. I'm just running the stream and watching it. That's all I'm doing right now. Steph says, tell him to skip the muffins and go to Taco Bell. That's a good point. That should probably be the best, the better advice to give. I'm up for that. And Taco Bell is adding dessert to their or extra dessert options to their menu. They added the churros, the caramel churros. Those are pretty good. I feel like they added a couple more things too, but they've really dropped in some pretty interesting um, upcoming items to their menu items that are going to be releasing throughout this year. So I mean, Taco Bell's going places. It's doing good. It's doing the Lord's work. Doc says Friday I just did the diamond in an air warship. Was taking it easy and did talk to some guys about disc golf. It was nice. That's really great. Yeah, I shouldn't have bragged about being back. I know. I spoke too soon. I know. I know. Doc says, is your brother playing video games? Maybe he might later, but pretty sure that there's just a Michigan State basketball game down there going on. Strong winds. It was breezy today, but not that strong. I think my luck with streaming is just really bad. Like I even at least with what I'm monitoring right now, like it looks really grainy and it's just not like coming through in high quality for no reason. Like there's just no reason for that to be happening. The Wi-Fi is strong, like it just happens. Doc says got hit by a big rain shower today. Yeah, that's annoying. I was very fortunate. The raining was very minimal. The worst effect was the tee pads getting pretty slippery and gross. They are pretty like worn down, and my shoes are also kind of worn down because they've been my disc golf shoes for the majority of the last year. Well, I guess I got them in. I guess I started using them in July, so it's barely been. Well, I guess it's been about 9 months. So fair enough. But yeah, that's really unfortunate that we just got enough rain to make the tee pad slippery and hard to trust. But overall, we didn't get that much rain. So I was happy with that because I was worried it was just going to start pouring. Rackle says, yikes, I don't know what's up with the erratic weather recently, but I hear some tornadoes have joined the chats. Yes, tornado touchdown in Union County near Kalamazoo, Michigan. I think it was just 10 miles west or southwest of Kalamazoo, about 40 miles west of where I grew up. And we had tornado warnings a lot in Michigan, in Jackson, but we almost never had one touchdown. It's pretty rare, really, for one to touchdown at all. And yeah, unfortunately, there was a tornado that touched down in Michigan, and it did kill some people. It took some lives. So very unfortunate. I know there's a tornado that hit in Gaylord, Michigan, a couple of years ago. I happened to be going up for a buddy's wedding the weekend before, and we went through parts of Gaylord, and it was just devastated. Like, just one side of the street wiped out, other side of the street totally fine. Like, it's very strange, but that's a tornado. It's very narrow and specific in its destruction. Doc, let's see. Oh, Steph says Michigan won. Okay. I don't personally have any care about the winners of a basketball game, but good to know. My brother will be slightly sad, so I'll try to be nice to him when I see him next. Doc says, when do we get the results of the Hold My Bag disc golf tournament? So it's going to be when the Pro Tour events take place, and it so happens that there's there's an off week here. So between the Supreme Flight Open of last week and the tournament, there wasn't one this weekend. So it's going to be this coming weekend. So if you're interested in keeping up with it, you'll want to start checking like Friday afternoon, evening to see your points start to, accumulate. Or if you just want to check afterward, then it's going to be about this time next Sunday that you're going to be able to see your points total. So it is just an off week for the tour because they don't officially have a tour stop this week. So the Hold My Bag isn't running anything this week. Steph says, didn't get to play as much in Texas today because of the wind. It was too wild. Yeah, that can be brutal. Rackle says, have you ever slipped on a tee pad and messed up the throw because of the rain? Absolutely. I've messed up the throw in the rain because of my grip on the disc, and because of slipping on the tee pad. I've absolutely done both. Florida was really bad. I don't remember if I was in second or if I was just a few shots away from the lead at a tournament at the Ocala Greenway course. And then the storm just comes like racing through, just pouring rain. And I went like bogey, bogey, double bogey, bogey, bogey to finish out the tournament round. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Like I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't keep a disc in the middle of the fairway to save my life. And then I think I ended up missing my chance to win on the last hole by like one stroke, but I had the most birdies, so I won a disc or something like that. I don't know. It was a very interesting tournament. I think that was back when I was playing MA1, back in the dark days, back when I was an amateur player. And why is the quality so low on the stream? This is driving me nuts. Fortunately, I don't think there's a thing I can do. I have Wi-Fi. Guys are just gonna have to deal with poor stream quality today. Unfortunate. Or maybe it's my monitoring device. Is that better? Nope, still terrible. Whatever. You guys will just have to deal with it. Okay. Definitely was putting the camera up too much. YouTube made some changes to their interface, so now when I look at chat, I'm like losing the video off to the side. Really annoying. If you haven't, which I'm sure that most of you have, but make sure that you look up the Kevin Jones Slip Ace. Back when it was GK Pro, Go Throw Disc Golf was filming a skins match at Maple Hill, and Kevin Jones, it just rained and it was a little bit gross out, and Kevin slipped on the tee pad of a like 500-foot downhill hole at Maple Hill, and it sounded bad. It looked bad, like he injured himself, which he was fine, just bruised. He aced it, and he won like a couple, like hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars for that ace. And for anybody who's a big disc golf fan, yes, Big Germ was there watching, of course, because he always is. But it was absolutely wild. It's a really cool video. Make sure you watch that if you've never seen it. But he got lucky. Usually when I slip, it's a really bad shot. Dux's Rackle, I gotta think everyone has done that. Anybody who's played in the rain has definitely had it. Steph says, I found a Riptide disc and I love it now. Interesting. Heck yeah. Liquid Skittles says, Jesus Christ loves you. And he loves you as well. And I appreciate you swinging through the stream. Spread the good cheer. Doc says, Steph, next real windy day, grab a lightweight Rolo and just have fun. It's not called fun. That's called disappointment. Rackle says, I figured it was common, Doc, but never seen it on video. I'm trying to think. Usually on the Pro Tour, they seem to handle it quite well. I don't know that I've ever posted a video of me slipping in the rain. I usually don't film in the rain, so that's probably the main reason. Maybe I should do that. Make sure I capture some slip throws from the tee pad in the rain, or at least with some mud. Steph says, I throw in Vans Ultra Rain shoes, and I love, love, love them. I just have the Moral shoes. I don't remember what brand they are. We got them for the players pack at US AMs last year at Toboggan. Doc says KJ USA had a rough one. I think it was rainy. Yeah. Plan on keeping up better than I did with my fantasy football. By the way, why didn't anyone tell me football season ended? Yeah, I didn't know either. I wasn't big on the fantasy either. I got auto drafted. I spent one day arranging my team and then forgot about it and then took third. It was very strange. I didn't deserve it. I didn't do well, but that's fantasy football. Hold my bag, you come back and pick for every tournament, but it's very, very, very simple. You're not making sure there's no injuries or subbing players in or anything like that. There's no draft as far as against other people. You just make your 5 picks. So it's very simple and nice. So shout out to that. Anybody who wants to join in on the fun And shout out to Mrs. Birdietime for making a Hold My Bag team. So if you notice that her username is in the Hold My Bag League with us, she picked, and she did not consult me. She did not have any knowledge. She's never watched a professional round of disc golf or any coverage. And she picked it based on the players' names. And I actually think that she's going to beat somebody because she picked a pretty good team. So shout out to that. If you're playing or interested in playing, it is free. The Hold My Bag League is just a birdie time league that we have set up. And every week that there's a Pro Tour event, you just pick 5 players that you think will do really well, and then you get points if they do, and see how you score against everybody else in the league. Oh gosh. Doc says, by the way, Stefan and Rackle, either of you seen The Man Who Would Be King? Pretty sure that's just the Lion King song. Okay, okay. Movie talk. Was just excited because picked up the book. Also Candide. Nice. Hey, Zach's here. Zach hopped on. Mindy Owens. What's up, Zach? Thanks for hopping on. Doc says, I do bad with my draft fantasy disc golf because I play with my heart. Well, if you also notice the teams, the usernames in the Hold My Bag League, there is a Birdietime team, which is me picking who I think will win based on the course. And then there's a Test B. Hendrick team, something like that is my username. And that, first of all, I'm just trying to test what it's like to be in the league from the running it position of the admin as well as just someone who's a member. But also, that's where I pick with my heart, and I just pick my favorite players. So I'm picking Calvin to win, even if it's not a course that I think Calvin's going to win at. But it was kind of fun to do that because I really felt like I was trying to make great strategic choices with my quote unquote real team. And then my other like username, I was like, I want Calvin to win. Like, I don't know if he's going to, but I just pick my favorite players. Steph says the Meridian Rip Current. Sorry, I ran out to the truck to go get it. It's a 6 stamp 2 hard helmet diver in rainbow with a turquoise disc. Wow, that's a lot going on. I didn't know that that Meridian had the Rip Current. Interesting. I did know about the Tundra and the. Wait, what do I have? I have a Meridian disc. What is this? The Ravine. Yeah, I've got the Ravine. I think I've thrown the Current, actually. I believe that I have. The Ravine is such a nice disc. It really is a nice disc. If I didn't have the M2, the Prodigy M2, in the bag that my brother gave me, I'd probably have the Ravine in the bag. Probably would. Doc says, double dipping, isn't that illegal? I'm planning to pull that account out of future events, but I just wanted to see what things were like. And I like named it my first initial and last name so you guys would know that it was me. And I called it Test in big, bold letters. So yes, I'm not planning to run that throughout the whole season. I just wanted to make sure that I knew what was going on. And then I didn't want to win with that team or like pick a second really good team. And I just picked my favorite players just to see. So it's very much just fun. Doc says, Dugit, get on that. Pick up any wild honeys before they get gone. I'm not buying discs right now, so I hope I can find wild honeys later. That's all I can say. Opaque, the Timu Man's clear disc. Wow. Diceizer says, congrats, Mrs. Birdietime, on the ace. Heck yeah. Oh, it's pretty awesome. And caught on film will be released later this month. The Mrs. Birdietime ace will be coming in a few weeks. Doc says, I don't care. I have 8 teams just razzing you. Well, if you have 8 teams in our league, then I don't know how you manage that because there's only like 9 of us and 2 of them are me. So I don't know how you manage that. Sneak past my filters, but no, it's fun to create a couple of, different varieties, just for the sake of seeing what happens. But I don't want to continue to do it on our league because, I don't feel like that's fun if I have 2 chances to beat people and everybody else just has one. But I am just testing it out and making sure that I know what the league looks like, how things run, and jumping into both accounts to see what things look like and how things are different. And it was fun to pick my favorite players, even though I don't expect that account to win. It would be funny if it did, though. What did you say when she aced? Very nice. Wow, that's a great question. I don't remember. I was actually pretty speechless, and I had the camera right, my phone right in front of my face, so I didn't say anything. But anyways, I'm spoiling the video. You guys will watch it soon enough. But yeah, I was pretty much speechless for a good 10 seconds afterwards. It was pretty great. It was pretty great. Dice says filmed. Awesome. Yes, I was very happy. Very happy. Doc says, no, I mean, you can have 8 teams. I can barely do one. You're saying that hold my bags lets you have 8 teams? What? Oh, you're saying that I could have 8 teams if I wanted to? That's what you're saying. You're saying, I don't care, have 8 teams, just razzing you. Got it. Doc says, nah, he says, how can I edit that so it looks like I aced? There's no opportunity for that, unfortunately. All of the credit has to go to her because she made it happen. I didn't even zoom the video. I just held it on frame as it went in. So there's really no way that I can doctor the footage to like, I didn't have a shaky moment where I could swap in. No, it's just not going to work. I guess I don't get any credit for the ace. Steph says, did she run it down? No, definitely. There are too many roots and it's just too dangerous, but you guys will see soon enough. What is it that Jay Millie does? I don't know what Jay Millie does. I don't watch his videos. So I'm not sure. Zach says, will that be the first time being on the channel? Yes, it will. Other than by voice as a caddy and filmographer. But yes, it will be. Doc says, you taught her, Brad, so you get coaching ace credit. Yes, heck yeah. So I'm trying to think if I get any other coaching ace credit, because one of my friends aced and I definitely gave him some tips, but he played disc golf since before he met me. So I guess I can't claim credit for that. Whenever Kevin Galloway aces, that's going to be partial credit to me because I taught him how to backhand better than he was. Well, there are plenty of people that I taught how to play or helped get better. Maybe Darian. I definitely worked with him, gave him a lot of advice. But this is probably the first ace that I coached the person and that I was the reason that they started playing disc golf and they learned disc golf only from me. So I think that I'm very happy to take coach credit for that. Dicizer says, it took me like 2 years to finally ace. She's a natural, or I'm naturally horrible. Maybe a little bit of both. There's still hope. No, it was pretty cool because we played one full round of 18 in Florida, and then we played this 9-hole course 3 times. And on the 3rd time that we played it, this is like a month, 3 weeks apart. So like every 3rd week we go get in a round of disc golf together. And on hole 3, ace. So this is like the 39th actual hole of disc golf that she's ever played. Ace. It took me way more than that to get my first ace. Like, I think I played 5 days a week, probably multiple rounds, several times a week for 4 months before I got my first ace. Maybe 5 or 6 months before I got my first ace. Yeah. Zach says, you helped me with the putting video. Heck yeah. Every putt you make, I get 10% credit. I like it. Rackle says, couples, doubles, tournament time. Ooh. Short pads unlocked? That might be great. Doc says, maybe it was she figured out if she joined the tour, she could visit bookshops around the world. Now we're talking. Now we're thinking. See, all this time, I was hoping to slowly get better at disc golf myself. But I should have known this entire time I should be training Mrs. Bhirdietime to make it big on tour so that we can visit bookstores across the world, in every country, every state where there's a pro tour event. We go to the event, and then whatever she wins, we go spend it on books. That seems like a great plan. I like that a lot. Who needs food when you can buy more books? Dice says that's got to be some kind of record. I mean, it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane. Like within your first 40 holes of disc golf, like that's not even 3 full rounds that you've played, getting an ace. I'm sure somebody has done like, months of field work before they ever played a round and happened to get an ace in their first round or two, but it is crazy how quickly it happened. Definitely insane. Steph says, have you heard of the Weekend Bogey Club? They're awesome dudes. Just did a challenge to get -100 playing 1 hole a day. They did it in 202, and they love Jesus too. Heck yeah. So -100 playing 1 hole a day. They did it in 202. So this is 202 days of getting birdie or par pretty much like every other day, like birdie, par, roughly speaking, to get it. That's very interesting. That's fun. If I were going to try to do a -100 challenge, I would try to do it in a day and try to get 100 birdies in a day. But I would play the same hole like 5 times. Well, then I'm going to be short. I would play through 18 holes and I would throw every hole like 6 times and then see how many birdies I could get and then add them up and then go back around through the course again. Because there's no way I could play like 200 holes in a day. Like, that would never happen. But I could throw 200 tee shots in a day. I just could not walk the course over and over and over again. Couldn't do that. Steph says you should do challenges. I've thought about it. I've thought about a few. One of the challenges that I've dabbled in is trying to throw a blindfold ace. And actually, funny enough, I have a no-look ace run video that I kind of have that I filmed a few weeks ago. I didn't put on a blindfold, but I just, didn't look and then threw, across the water at Scrapyard. So I've thought of a few different challenges on and off, and I've been watching Disrespect. He does a lot of challenges. He does mulligan challenges, best shot doubles with himself, with the blobs, the blobsicles or whatever. I don't know if that's the name of the disc or what he calls them. But that massive blob disc. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by it, but I also feel like those are hard to like. The people who like them really like them, so you get the returning viewers, the handful of people that really like it, watch every single video. They watch the whole series. They want to know how it ends. They want to see everything the whole way. But I don't think that has a wide audience appeal, like a birdie of the day or an ace run or a long putt. So I struggle to plan ahead and try to figure out how to do a challenge that I think will do pretty well on YouTube. I don't try to only, go viral. Isn't like my goal every single video that I make. I'm not thinking, how can I make this go viral? Or how can I do something that will go viral? That's not really a thought in my mind. It's more how can I create a good YouTube short that people enjoy watching? So a challenge like that can be a good YouTube short that people enjoy watching, but I worry that they won't be watched much at all and will just be like a quarter of the views that all my other videos do. And I'll do that occasionally, but even like the first in flight videos that I do every once in a while where I'm like, hey, this is, the sweep. This is my first throw with it. Those don't tend to do super well because it's not me playing a hole or making a putt or throwing an ace run. It's throwing out in the field and I talk about the disc and I throw it and maybe I talk again. Maybe I throw a second one. Like those videos don't tend to do super well. People just either they don't have the attention span or they're just not interested. Like some people are, but a lot of people just don't really care. So I kind of try to leave that sort of video in content in long video form and do like a full round challenge or a disc review or something like that, where I keep that content in a long video where I know people who are jumping in to watch it are invested in watching a longer video versus scrolling through YouTube Shorts. Anyway, that's a really long explanation, basically saying I'm not against it, I'm interested, but I'm not sure how to do it really well. Doc says, my favorite challenge is all animal name bag or all clear discs bag. Yeah, clear discs obviously would be your best. I would love to do like an all food name bag because I've got like the wild honey and the taco, and I know that there's like the berry and there's a bunch of food names for uh, mint discs. Yeah, not Clash. Mint discs. They have a bunch of food names. Or is it Clash? Maybe it is Clash. I guess the lobster technically counts, right? The obvious ones from Clash, and then the mint lobster and mint taco. This is just from Reddit. Yeah, mango berry, peach soda, spice, butter, cookie. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Do you count animals that you eat? So like, is the pig a food name? Because it's all you can eat pig. Toro is a food associated name. Okay, I see. Sorry, I'm in my own little world Googling stuff. The crave is a name. Okay. This is a problem with AI. It thinks it knows what it's doing, but it doesn't. Doc says, blind ace, could you set up 150 feet of rope and have someone set you on the basket? That'd be very interesting. Um, I feel like I've seen zipline aces where you like have like a zip line or a rope system and you put your disc on a little tray and it zips it to the basket, falls into the basket. I feel like I've seen that. I know that I've seen like a really complicated snow um, sledding hill, like toboggan slope thing that ends up hitting a like ramping off of the snow into a basket at the end. I've seen that as well. Doc says, Do you set up and take the blindfold off every time you get ready to throw? What I was doing is I would put on the blindfold, throw, and then like see how close it was, and then put the blindfold back on and throw again. That's what I was doing. I don't know what you're asking about the rope. You're saying take it off and throw without the blindfold? I don't get it. Steph says the sweep was a dope looking disc. Dude, those sweeps are awesome. And I forgot how, but I got a third one somehow. So I have three of them. I have two. I lost one in the water, but I'm getting it back tomorrow morning. Thank you, Mr. Jimmy, for once again retrieving my disc from the water at Scrapyard Hole 9. What a legend. I also have another disc to get from another round. Busy day tomorrow. But the sweeps are really nice. I like how they look and I like how they fly. And I like the blue coloration of them. Steph says the flying armadillo has a bunch of wild trick shot holes. 30 minutes away from where I live. You're 30 minutes from flying armadillo? Man, that's definitely a one day go and just film for like 5 hours course where like I'll just set up camp on a hole and throw a bunch of shots and get a couple of aces or an ace and then move on to the next hole and do it again. As long as it's not a heavily trafficked day, I don't want to annoy people. But that's definitely a must play in my lifetime course, and definitely will need to film there. Doc says the rope idea might be fun for helping blind people. The rope idea was not thinking you could just take off the blindfold. I had a brain fart. Got it. And it's very interesting, though, that you do kind of bring up playing disc golf actually blind, because a blind guy played in the Chain Hawk Open and completed the entire 3-round A tier in the Chain Hawk Open. And I don't remember if he had someone hitting the chains for him during the event itself, but I actually played through him and his friend or brother during practice, and his friend would hit the chains for him, and then they would talk through obstacles on the course and like roughly how he wanted to throw so he could get somewhere and then throw his next shot, and then hit the chains again so that he knew where the basket is in relation to his throw. So it's very interesting to see him navigating just by sound to figure out where he was supposed to go next. I imagine a couple of holes with OB were incredibly difficult because if you can't really see where you're supposed to throw across the out of bounds, that could be really hard. Steph says, come hang, I'll go with you. Heck yeah. Doc says, cool stuff, I've seen that online. I'm sure you have. There are a lot of flying armadillo videos. I feel like every year when the tour swings across Texas and you have the like Waco and then you kind of move toward Nevada, like people just swing through Texas and then they stop by flying armadillo. They get a bunch of aces, they film them, and then we see flying armadillo aces on Instagram for 3 weeks. But I mean, it's cool. It's great. I'm not dogging it. I'm just saying it's like a yearly thing where they start popping up online. Doc says, Steph, also take him to a few bookshops and Taco Bell, and he will love you forever. Well, you might possibly know the way to my heart. Steph says, can definitely do both. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Being that it's Texas, we have a ton of awesome Mexican places and food trucks on every other corner, it feels. Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do love Taco Bell, but I like authentic Mexican food quite a bit. I don't necessarily go for the super spicy stuff. Otherwise, I do very much enjoy Mexican food. So I'd be up for that. As long as they let me take a little extra sour cream. Doc says, my question, they have all these food truck conventions and stuff. Where is a book truck sneaking in? I mean, come on. That's a really great question. A book truck. Yes, it could be done. You need good AC for the person owning it, of course. But I feel like just like an ice cream truck, you drive around playing classical music and sell books. Maybe a little bit of coffee too. Rackle says, does Mrs. Bhirdietime like Taco Bell? If she does, what is her favorite order? Yes, she does like Taco Bell. And of course, you have to put me on the spot in the live stream as to what her favorite order is. Well, I will say that she did like the chicken chalupa, which I recommended she try, and she did really like it. She doesn't like burritos, doesn't go for the burritos. So those are all for me. I had the beefy flavor burritos. I know that she likes a crunch wrap, but I'm not sure that I could say what necessarily her favorite order, go-to order would be. But in my defense, we've only gone to Taco Bell 3 times. So yes, I know that might be a shock because how have I not gone to Taco Bell like 50 times, in the last month? Well, I haven't. I think I've only been to Taco Bell once in the last month. Yeah. And it wasn't even my idea. Doc says, we don't have enough bookstores anymore. This is true, although some areas do have several nice used bookstores, so it just kind of depends on where you are, but I take your point. It was interesting 3 years in Florida, the lack of bookstores. And there's a library here and a library there, which are great, but the lack of bookstores is very interesting. And doing some research, because eventually I would love to own a bookstore, the literacy rates of Florida were very disheartening, to say the least. Definitely. Doc says he doesn't order for his lady, he lets her do that. Who is this and what have you done with Brad? Well, maybe I'm just being slightly healthier than normal. I don't know. I'm being lazy. Saving up for the wedding. That's what I'm doing. Yep. Thank you for helping me come to that conclusion. I'm saving up for the wedding. How about her favorite kind of soup? Oh gosh. She really liked the cheeseburger soup. She makes a great broccoli cheddar soup. But we haven't had that much soup either. We haven't had that much soup. I don't know. I might have to say broccoli cheddar soup, but I'm probably getting all these questions wrong. Please stop asking the questions that I get wrong in the live stream. This is going to be bad. Favorite soup has to be Brad's cowboy soup. First of all, it's not soup. Cowboy beans, not soup. Second of all, no, she doesn't want cowboy soup or cowboy beans. So don't worry about that. But that cheeseburger soup, that was pretty good. Doc says, are you sure that you're ready to get married? That's what premarital counseling is for. We got time. We'll get it worked out. I take back trying to help Brad not look bad live. Wow, thanks. That didn't last for long. Rackle says, Doc, he's not beating the allegations. Oh, no. You were trying, Doc? Well, I appreciated it. Lasted for a few minutes, at least. At least for a few minutes. Trying to help me. If you're trying to help me, you slip me the answers to the test instead of quizzing me, having a pop quiz online in the spur of the moment. Favorite book genre? Yes. Steph says she's not watching. Bad news for both of us. It's good, but it's bad news right now. Favorite color? Yes, green. Favorite book genre? Like the Christian historical romances, fantasy books. Yeah, definitely the two top genres. Notice he didn't answer. I answered, Doc. You're typing too fast. Heisenberg. Yeah, I answered. Doc just had typed it out before I said it. There's a delay. There's a delay. That's why you deleted it. Heisenberg says hi. Thanks for hopping on. Just got first at my tournament yesterday. I saw even we played. Sorry, I'm trying to read this comment. Got first at your tournament yesterday. Was just one round, just a 1-round event. Nice job. Heck yeah. Way to take first. That's awesome. Rackle says green is a beautiful color and a beautiful solid answer. Amazing work. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Doc says green and blue. Aw, cute. They like similar colors. Well, to me, they're the same color because I struggle to tell the difference between greens and blues. So, as far as I'm concerned, we have the same favorite color, but she thinks we have different favorite colors. I don't know. Tell me how that works. Doc says, okay, Rackle, see why I usually don't try to help? Heisner says, discs of live. Oh, are you saying random disc of the stream? Is that what you're saying? It's interesting that Dujit's not here yet. He should be here asking for the random disc of the stream. But I will go for it, and I will go my left side, this other side this time, because I always go with my right hand. So I'll go random disc of the stream. Let's go top shelf. What do we have here? Ooh, fun story for this. This is a pipeline, and Ellie Mittling gave this to me personally at the Chainhawk Open a year ago in Florida. And she had just gotten a bunch of pipelines, and I ran into her, recognized her at the course several days before the tournament started. I was getting some practice in and stuff, and like saw her mom and was chatting with them for a minute, and then she snagged a pipeline and gave it to me. And I will say, a huge part of me wants to bag it. It really is a good disc, and I should probably give it another chance. The FD1 has just, it just is so good for me, and I have one that goes straight, and I have one that fades more. Shout out to Steven for that green FD1. I think it's green. So the pipeline, really, really good straight shot disc with a touch of fade at the end. And I really should probably give it another chance because it's so good and it just has such a cool stamp. And Doc will love it as partly clear. And now I have no idea where I got it from. I'm going to say right there. And I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Rackle says that I keep digging and digging. Oh my gosh. Doc says he fights you when you try to help him, like they have to train lifeguards when people fight them trying to help. I'm not trying to drown you with me, but maybe push you down so that I can breathe better? Sure, why not? Rackle says, give a man a shovel to help him create a bed of flowers, and he just digs down to rock bottom to find the seed. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. Doc says sometimes it's easier to just swim down. Doc says, Brad, let Mrs. Bhirdietime try it. Pipeline good for beginners. I don't know. I think that the pipeline is decent for amateur players for sure, but I wouldn't say a beginner would necessarily benefit from a somewhat stable 8-speed. I think really choosing the mid-range slot and a couple of fairway drivers that are flippy is really where it's at for early playing. But now that you do mention the idea of another disc to try, I will grab a pretty flippy disc that might actually be really good. The Tex is a 6.5 -3.1. That might actually be a good one to try. I have to try that maybe next week. Oh, my neck. Ooh, or maybe a tumbleweed. Tumbleweed. I don't like the 10 speed. It's too fast. Anyway. Rackle says, maybe we're trying to help him. Maybe we're actually helping him try to keep his head above water by dragging him down. This is why I don't swim. This is why I don't go in water that I can't see the bottom of, because I just don't trust people. Steph says, I like the Ella Hansen S-Line FD. I haven't thrown that one. I don't know that I've thrown the FD as opposed to the FD1 very many times, maybe just a handful of times. I feel like I borrowed a buddy's and threw it once and I was like, oh, that's really good. But the FD1, I like the stability and how it fights me a little bit and kind of drops out of the sky versus the extra glide of the FD. But they're great discs. Like the FD is a great disc. I just throw a Brave instead. But I do like those for sure. Doc says, Rackle, you have a way of words I envy. Steph says, I like it because it has a picture of me on it. The showstopper is what it's called. I have a huge handlebar mustache too. Heck yeah, that's really great. That's awesome. Doc says, yeah, well, she's already got an ace. I didn't want to say her being better than you. A pipeline might be good. Doc says, has she tried a shoe? No. I do still have the shoes here. Shoe might be okay, but I think it's just not flippy enough. I like the glide and the paradox for the mid ranges because they're very flippy and they'll fly well. They have a good flight. Brent says, I'm here. Hey, Doc's gonna be happy. Doc says, hey Brent, you hear that Mrs. Bhirdietime aced? Brent says, no, not surprised though. Bradley got second today and only lost by 1. Wasn't there for it. I did, and I actually came from a bit behind in the round. My first round, I missed 3 circle 1 putts. 2 of them I chained out left side, and it was real like heartbreaking. And like literally the second time it happened, I was like, I swear if I lose $100 because I'm chaining out these stupid putts. And then yeah, 2 strokes would have put me in first place instead of tying for second. So it's money not in my bank account, but that's okay. That's fine. I was very happy to work off of my debt of round 1 and come back with tied for hot round 2, and managed to tie for second place. So I was really happy about that. Doc says, Brent, you do all you can for him, and we appreciate you for it. Hey, I'm trying to help Brent with some home renovations tomorrow if we have some time before and after we play Hornet's Nest. But I also have to mow the lawn, pick up a few lost discs, pack up to head out of town again, and then help, practice, help, eat food at some point in my life, get back here, finish packing, go to sleep at some point. So it's going to be a busy day for me. Raven says, I found 2 buzzes at my house when I was cleaning. That's awesome. Just hanging around, one under the bed, one just in the back of the closet, wondering why you just haven't thrown them in a long time. You finally do some deep cleaning and find a couple of buzzes sitting around. That's so cool. I'm glad you set them free. Hopefully you've thrown them and gotten them back outside, breathing some fresh air. Steph says, Raven, they are mine. I left them there. Doc says, I might, LOL, I might have cleaned and found discs also. I have cleaned my car out and found a disc under the seat. I have done that multiple times. Brent says, Bradley is going to hang out with me tonight. tomorrow. Not tonight, tomorrow. Brent says, I'm lucky. Doc says, sweet. Brent, what is Mrs. Birdietime's Taco Bell order? I bet you know. Brent does not know. Brent has yet to meet Mrs. Birdietime. We were going to hang out, the four of us, well, five of us. We were going to get together and hang out when the snowstorm hit in Charlotte a month ago. So, unfortunately, we just completely got snowed in. The roads were not safe, and we were not out on the roads. So, Brent doesn't know. Not yet. Raven says, Steph, all right, I'll give it back. Doc says, wait, home renovations? Brad? Brent, are you sure about this? Wow, trying to throw me under the bus again. My dad was an independent contractor for 25 years. I've helped out. I know what I'm doing when somebody else is telling me what to do. Steph says, Brad won't give me back the buzzsaw over his shoulder there. Yeah, I'm just cruel and unkind, so I'm just keeping that for myself. So my apologies. Brent says, Doc, don't worry, he'll just be watching. I'm teaching him the way. Oh my gosh. Raven says, on top of the shelf, but they work great. Heck yeah. Doc says, okay, but I'll still mention you in my prayers. Oh my word. Eisner says, sign up for a tournament Sunday. Do you have any tournaments coming up? I'm trying to play in the Queen City Classic, which is the Pro Tour stop that's coming to Charlotte. I'm planning on playing in the Monday qualifier. So I think signups actually just went live like 2 days ago. So I should actually open a tab for that. So thank you for the reminder, because the last time I was looking to like sign up for tournaments, it wasn't open yet. So let's see. It is going to be the 23rd, Monday qualifier, Queen City Classic, 34 players. Looks like there's 11 slots left, which is good. People jumped in really fast, but there's still spots. Wow, there are some good players here. Zach Peters is really good. Justin Orlando is really good. Holt Whitted is really good. Alan Vasquez is really good. Adam Cruz is really good. I'm sure there are others that I'm just not necessarily recognizing their names. And there's definitely some talent in the field. But the good thing is I don't see and recognize any Pro Tour players here trying to get in off the Monday qualifier for the MPO side of things. Maybe they just haven't signed up yet, but fingers crossed that I actually have the ability to be competitive in this qualifier. That'd be really nice. But I will say, I've never played that great at Hornets, so it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. Well, I will definitely sign up for that tonight when I have a little more time, because the way that I focus and type during my live stream would probably mean that I would type my banking information and say it out loud. So I'm going to not do that. So that's going to be my next tournament coming up, is that Monday qualifier. That's just going to be one round. But if I get crazy lucky or have a really, really good round, I have a chance to potentially qualify for the Queen City Classic, which would be a really, really cool opportunity if I was able to pull that off. But I don't expect that. Other than that, it's going to be April before I play probably another competitive round. Just busy on the weekends. Doc says Mrs. Birdie didn't get Brent's blessing. I'm a bit surprised. Well, you might be very interested to know this, Doc, and I think this will make you very happy. Brent is the first person that I told about Mrs. Birdietime when we were first talking on the dating app. In fact, basically when we were sending our very first messages back and forth to each other, Brent was there because we were playing a tournament together. And I was sending a message on the dating app during the tournament, and I was talking to Brent about it. So Brent actually was the first person to know and did approve very early on. So don't worry. Brent has been involved from the very beginning. He just doesn't matter yet. And Brent says she seems wonderful. There you go. That's great. Oh my gosh. Doc says, but I suppose Brent figures any port in a storm. Rude. Doc's, oh, I scrolled too far. Doc says, Brent, do you also get scared when somebody says my dad was? Brent says, always. I'm not saying that I have the abilities of an independent contractor. I'm saying what I was involved in. Like I was involved in a lot of painting and renovation projects growing up, but I was always the helper. I was not in charge of any of those projects. But I'm not telling Brent that I can do all these renovations myself. I'm saying that I'll help him out. Big difference. Steph says, none of them better than the putt master, though. Heck yeah. Doc says, Brent Stefan means Brad as the putt master if you haven't figured it out yet. That is what he calls me. I did not start that. That was not on me. Eisner Baum Jr. says, what is your favorite disc golf company? Well, I feel like I'm contractually obligated to say Infinite Discs. I do like Infinite quite a bit. I've gotten tons of my discs from Infinite as far as when I purchase discs. That's one of the places that I go. And I bag the Infinite Dynasty and have for a very long time. But as far as manufacturer specifically is concerned, I definitely lean toward Latitude. I like Latitude, and I like Discmania quite a bit. So they're two that kind of top my list. I think if I had to swap to a manufacturer, I'd probably pick Latitude and then Discmania in that order. I like a lot of Streamline's discs. Their Cosmic Neutron plastic is very good. I like the Z-Flex plastic that Discraft puts out for sure. Yeah, those would be my top choices. Yeah. How about you? Doc says mine is still Trilogy. Off topic, but y'all hear we might lose Funko Pop. Off topic is right. I'm totally lost. Steph says luck comes from hard work. Well, I'll put the work in and see if I get lucky then. Rackle says not Funko Pop. ES says, what is the most disc golf that you've played in one single day? 2 18-hole courses? The most that I played in a day. Great question. I know in a tournament I've played over 44 holes in a day. So that was like 2.5 rounds. Or like about 2.5 rounds that I played. I'm trying to think. I know for sure I've played 3 rounds in a day. I'm trying to remember when and where that was. I'm trying to recall. There have definitely been days, though, where I've played 2 full practice rounds and thrown 2 or 3 tee shots off of every single tee and like multiple putts. So I've definitely had days where I put in maybe not the walking of 4 rounds of disc golf, but the throwing of 4 or 5 rounds of disc golf for sure. But yeah, probably 3 full rounds is the most that I've done in a day. Doc says, yeah, Rackle, I was shocked. Rackle says, can't have anything nice anymore. What do you mean we're losing Funko Pop? Do you mean like the company is going out of business? Or do you mean like the US is losing rights or something like that? Like, what does it even mean? Doc says, Brent, do we have time to get Brad a tool belt that says Lil Helper? We probably don't have time for tomorrow, but maybe by next week that can arrive. Maybe put it in a custom order on Etsy. I think that's probably the best way to get it. Eisner says, how many aces do you have? I posted one on my channel today. I got it today. Heck yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I've been so busy in the last couple of days. I have not sat down and watched any YouTube or caught up. So I have 7 legitimate first throw aces, and I have 26 like second shot or third, or I'm going to throw until I aces. So just over 30 total, but most of them being practice aces. So yeah, and 0 this year. Have yet to hit one this year. Hopefully eventually I can manage to make one. Steph says, Brad, I always love to tell people I'd like to tell you good luck, but you won't need it. So I'll tell you enjoy the qualifying round. Well, thank you very much. I do really appreciate that. There's definitely elements to where I hope that things go well, and I consider it a blessing to be able to play. And if I were to qualify, I would certainly see that as a blessing from God. I would see that as something that's not, fully of my own power, because I feel like I am punching above my weight by a decent amount. So to find success in that circumstance, I would only have to and want to glorify God for that. I don't necessarily know that that's what will happen, but if it does, I'll definitely see that as a blessing and as a gift. In any regard, I've been wanting to play a Monday qualifier for a Pro Tour event for quite some time, and I had the opportunity for USDGC last year, and then I had a bit of pain in my back. It wasn't severe, but I thought if I go to Winthrop and play and I'm throwing a full power shot on 17 of 18 holes, I could really hurt myself, and it's just not worth it. And I did get like a partial refund for that, so I'm glad that I dropped out. Didn't do anything that might hurt myself. But I am very much excited for the Monday qualifier at Hornets. I don't think I'm great at Winthrop or Hornets, to be honest. Those are some of my weak courses around the Charlotte area, but I am looking forward to like getting in a little more practice and then doing my best to execute while I have the chance. Doc says, way to go, Heiser. Yeah, it seems like Funko had some really bad management. It's shocking, though, to be fair. The only 3 I have are from Hamilton. Well, it's just so strange because they seem so wildly popular. Like, there are just so many people that, oh, like a new Funko Pop from The Office came out and I'm adding it to my collection. This is my sister that I'm talking about. So it just seems like they just have, they seem to sell themselves. But also, to be fair, if you go to like well, there are some like video game and it's a little bit like FYE for your entertainment. The like video game trade-in shops are doing like a blend of games, maybe movies, Funko Pops, maybe disc golf discs. I've seen that at a place called Disc Traders in Michigan, and they just have so many Funko Pops. You have to wonder, do they take them anymore? Are they just, is everybody turning in their Funko Pops? Everybody's just done with them and bored, and they just keep like producing more, but they're not making sales anymore? Or are they so popular that the trickle down effect is that there are tons that are traded in? I don't really know the answer to that, but it could be that they're just not popular anymore, but they're acting like they still are. No clue. Doc says, Brad, if you get time later, just Google news Funko Pop. It's interesting. I'm sure it would be. Hey, Isabel Slays is here. What's up? Says, hey guys, appreciate you hopping on and swinging through the stream. And says, hey Doc, Arctic Cheetah's here as well. How was your day today? Well, I was happy today. I have played in a point series. Well, I've played in tournaments leading up to this point series finale, and I only got to play in 2 of the qualifying point series tournaments, and I barely earned enough to make one of the reserve slots. But I was happened to ask if I wanted to play because the reserves had a chance to play in the tournament today. So I feel like I really like squeaked in to this point series finale today, and I ended up tying for second with my brother and took home $100. So I'm pretty happy. Today was a pretty good day. Definitely not quite my like absolute best disc golf, but pretty up there. I played very well. I didn't feel like I made too many big mistakes. I hit a lot of my fairway shots and had good tee shots overall. Just a few bad putts round 1, and then I couldn't get a circle 2 putt to fall in round 2. Overall, had a good day, made a little bit of money. Now I'm just tired. Hanging out with you guys on the stream makes me pretty happy too. Doc says, what I thought, Brad, they got all kinds of licenses, but it seems like they're only good for a year and then they can't sell. Interesting. Because I would almost think you could produce but not sell. So you'd have to produce all of your product and then you could sell it whenever. But if you lose the ability to sell it after 1 year, that's crazy. Very interesting. Now all I'm saying is someone who was on a live talking about them might be going under in one article that I read. Okay. Interesting. Goodwill Auction has very many Funko Pops. Gotcha. Oh man. Steph says, how to use shout out the social links while playing. I'm sure it would up the views and lead to more exposure. Um, what are you asking? While playing like in a tournament? Is that what you're asking? Like what can you rephrase that? I'm a little bit confused by that. How to use shout out the social links? I don't quite get that. Heisner says, do you like crab boil? I like crab rangoon. I'm not a big crab or lobster fan necessarily. Seafood is fine, but mostly I guess shrimp and fish more so than lobster crab for me. No escargot and no. Um, Now I'm blanking the fancy term for fish eggs. It's gonna pop into my head in like 8 seconds, but I'm sure one of you is gonna tell me. Doc says Brad did have a really good weekend, made $100. Fiance hit an ace, and now he gets to hang out with Brent. Bit jealous. You know what? That is a really good weekend, isn't it? Steph says he only eats Taco Bell and cowboy beans. Oh my gosh. Doc says, what's the problem? Steph says nothing at all. Was just telling Eisner. Arctic says, have you played the course before? Which course? The course I played today. It's Kilbourne, so I was pretty familiar with it. I've had some really good rounds at Kilbourne. So it's definitely a course where I felt like I could execute and I had good confidence. It was a bit rainy and the tee pads got slick, so that was unfortunate. But overall, I felt very good and comfortable with most of the rounds. I think just early on, I was a little fluctuating on what disc to throw in several of the holes. And then I kind of got back in the rhythm of things and made a couple of adjustments for round two that really worked out. So I was pretty happy about that. And yeah, just am a little bit out of practice with my putts and missed a few circle one putts I should have made. That's about it. Heisner says, with a side of pickles. Thank you, Doc. Caviar. Yes, caviar. I know what caviar is, just fell out of my brain for a minute. No, I'm not really much of a pickles eater either. I like my food to taste good, so I know that's a controversial opinion, but I don't like my food like attacking my taste buds as if they did something wrong. So I like food that my taste buds get along with and that I enjoy eating and make me calm and happy. Also, I like coffee. Steph says, yeah, do shout out your social stuff like YouTube and Instagram when playing in tournaments. Oh, gotcha. So I try to kind of make conversation, and if it's natural that people ask about what I do, then I'll definitely say, well, I work for the ministry that my parents started. I do some website design, and I have a disc golf YouTube channel that I run. And usually, if they've never heard of it or me, then we'll chat some about it. A lot of people know me already in the Charlotte area, and a lot of people have seen my videos. I did have a jersey. I think I have one right here. Oh no, I don't. Dang it. I was hoping I could just snag my jersey. Maybe it's up here. Oh, knocking over my hand sanitizer. Green Bradley. I'm too short for this. Maybe I don't have it here. Interesting. Where did my jerseys go? Very strange. Well, anyway, I have two disc golf jerseys that have my username on the back at Bhirdietime, and my PDJ number. So that would start some conversations where people are like, "Oh, do you do you have a YouTube channel? Like, do you post a lot of videos?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So I definitely have that, had that ability in tournaments. But now with the infinite sponsorship, I don't have anything added to this. Maybe one of those cricket things. Maybe something could be added to one of my infinite jerseys with the Bhirdietime or with my logo. Something like that would be pretty cool. So there's some potential in that. But for now, I'm just wearing the infinite jerseys that I have in events, in tournaments when I'm competing. But I did have that Bhirdietime social media handle on some of my shirts. So that would spark some conversation. I feel like in some ways I just kind of start to get to know a lot more people, bring it up. No, I don't bring it up, but just while chatting, it comes up in conversation. And then somebody else on the card will be like, "Oh, really? Like you have a YouTube channel?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I've probably had maybe like 15 or 20 people while playing disc golf with them be like, "Oh, dude, what's your YouTube? Like, I'll follow you right now. I'll subscribe." And they'll hand me their phone and I'll type it in. So it just kind of happens sometimes. It just comes up. So that's pretty cool. But I think the main thing that helps me is making a lot of YouTube shorts that people will eventually see. And then when they're in an event with me, they like, "Oh, do you make videos? Like, do you do like the birdie of the day?" When they recognize me in person and I like make that connection and say hi, I feel like that's the big moment. They're like, "Oh wow." Like not that I'm amazing, but they're like, "I got to see that guy in person and I've seen his videos. Like that's really cool." And they start to care a little bit more at that point because they actually like met me on the course or competed in a tournament with me. So I feel like that's really the best way right now is when I've already made videos for the last couple of years and somebody will recognize me from them, get to meet me, and then they're more interested in watching my stuff because they know me personally. Okay, okay, okay. Heisner says that is good but expensive. Yeah, caviar is apparently expensive. Doc says, have heard some people eat bass caviar, but it's cheaper. Interesting. Anyway, I'll just move on past the fish talk. Heisner says, hot Cheetos. Yeah, I'm not too much of a spicy food person. I like my snacks not to injure my tongue. Steph says, I am a welder, can't spell. Hot Cheetos and caviar. Interesting. Tammy's, I don't know, is that a brand or a food? Wow, I cannot spell. We'll just pretend like I can spell. Okay, it just looks like a brand of snacks. Steph says, get a QR code that links to sick videos. Heck yeah. This is something that I do need to do because I design websites. I really need to make a Birdie Time disc golf website. And then, yes, I could have a QR code. It could take you straight to it. I'm guessing I could probably do that for YouTube, but nobody wants to go to a YouTube like URL. I don't know if it would take you to the app or not. I guess that's my question. Will it just take you to open a tab in your browser, or would it take you to the app itself? Maybe I need to look into that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really like a fishy like run tournaments or anything like that. I don't really sell enough stuff to have a QR code handy for that to make much sense. Uh, yeah, but QR codes are very handy. I really do need a website, which would make more sense to have a QR code around, especially if I could sell things on the site and kind of have, site traffic that's interested in disc golf stuff. That would be great, but yeah. Arctic Cheetah says, is there an infinite buff when you play with your jersey on? Yes, and it never ends, and there is no limit. It's quite fantastic. Although I did get beat by someone who did not have an infinite jersey on. He had an Innova jersey on. Very upset about that. No, yes, definitely an unending, unlimited, infinite, if you will, benefit to wearing these jerseys. And the jerseys are just awesome. They feel good. They look good. They're really good in like hot conditions. And that was one issue with the other jerseys that I had, my blue or green ones. They just got a little bit warm. Like they just kind of trapped the heat in a little bit too much. And I really like the cooling effect of these jerseys for sure. ES says, is a one disc round a good way to develop my disc golf skills in your opinion? Yes. It just all depends on what your approach is to developing your skills. I've had rounds where I threw just a putter, and I feel like it definitely gave me some benefits, and it got me really well practiced with throwing a Warden. But there's a lot of benefit to being able to throw a second shot. When you throw a shot and you're like, man, I know what I did wrong and I really want to try to fix it right now. And then you throw a better shot your second time and you're like, okay, I'm going to lock that in my mind. I fixed it. I know what I'm supposed to do. And with a one disc round, you do completely lose that ability. Where if you just have that tee shot be bad, tough, like you just screwed up. So I do like having multiple discs on me so that I can throw a second shot. So I would say maybe the best possible thing that you could do, other than field work, if you're going to play around, probably take 3 of the same disc and throw the tee shot a couple of times, because then if you do make a mistake, you can try to correct it with your next 2 throws and see if you can somewhat get it figured out. That's definitely something where when I am prepping for a tournament, I need to throw multiple tee shots until I feel like I've gotten an understanding of what the tee shot feels like and what a good shot looks like and what disc I need to throw to have a good shot. With a one disc round, you do kind of run the risk of not gaining anything in terms of growth if you have a bad shot with your one single throw off the tee. So that's my only thought process about that. Maybe not being the best plan is if you just have that one disc. So a couple of the same disc, though, that could be really, really good. This is really impressive. Doc answered a question before I got asked as far as what it looks like in the live chat here. So Doc answered clear, and then after he said clear, Heisner says favorite color of a disc. That's really impressive. As far as I can see, Doc's comment is first, which is very impressive. I'm guessing it's because Heisner misspelled something and retracted the message up above. But I love that just for those 2 comments, it looks like Doc answered it before it was asked, because he's so ready just to say clear is a color. It's not. It's a lack of color. You can see through it. It's not color. It's a lack of color. Anyway, favorite color of a disc for me, blue. Definitely. 100%. It's always blue. Although I do like bright colors. They help stand out a little bit better for me. So like a bright yellow, not the greenish yellow, but like the brighter yellow. A good pink stands out okay. Red is all right, but orange is probably better. Orange is probably better. Stands out better. Doc says, anyone like hot fries? And remember the old days where you could get one fry and it was just seasoning stuck together? No. Definitely don't remember those days. Steph says, when I'm your security, I'll take the QR stickers with me and slap them everywhere. Heck yeah. Heisner says, how tall are you? I say 1 foot 5 inches. Haha. I would say even just what's on camera is more than 1.5 feet. But I'm 5'10" and a half, 5'11", right in there. 5'10" and 3/4, whatever. So that's my height. Not super tall, but definitely slightly taller than average. Slightly better than average. That's my life motto. Steph says, oh, now that he's pro, he needs security for many reasons. First and foremost, to stop people from talking while disc is in flight. Thank you. You're the reason that he chains out if you talk in flight. That's very true. That drives me insane. When I throw, I have several good friends, love them dearly, and I'll throw a disc, and it's halfway there, and they'll go, nice. Oh, I didn't think you were gonna hit that tree. I thought you were past it. I thought you were good. And I'm like, let the disc fly, my man. Just let it fly. And then if it ends up good, then you can say nice, but not while it's still flying. I'm not actually superstitious in terms of it making a difference. It just annoys me because you don't know what it's going to do yet. Don't compliment it yet. Like, yes, if I hit a really great gap, then that's fine. You say nice and I hit a later tree because I'm probably not too upset that I hit something eventually if I hit a really tight gap and had a good shot. But when I have a good shot and it gets wrecked by a tree right after somebody says, oh, that's perfect, stop it. Wait till it's done. Ugh. Thank you, Steph, for being my security. I appreciate that. Eisner says, hot fries are so good unless you open the bag and one fry is covered with seasoning. What is your favorite pro? Mine is Ricky. Ricky's pretty great. Steph says, Emerson Keith, very interesting. Now, he's a Texas guy, isn't he? right? He's from Texas, right? So that makes a lot of sense if that's the case. I think he is. I'm pretty sure. I like Emerson quite a bit, but my favorite, Calvin. Calvin's my favorite. I think he's incredibly funny. He just has such a sense of humor. Um, just a couple of the skins matches that I watched with him, he just cracks me up. Him and Kevin Jones back and forth. They're so funny. It's just so fun to listen to them. Oh my gosh. And then he's of course incredibly talented. Um, yeah, I mean, one of the five best disc golfers of the last 10 years for sure. So Calvin's my favorite, and then Isaac Robinson, definitely Ezra Robinson as well. Both of them becoming my favorite, two of my favorites, I should say. Then after that, Gannon's up there, but yeah, I'll probably say Calvin and then Isaac and Ezra are my top three. Hey, Dujit is here. Dujit is here, and random, I did it earlier. Random disc of the stream was this pipeline given to me personally by Ellie Mittling, who, if you don't know or don't remember, she was winning FPO distance competitions at 15. So this is the Ellie Mittling Ice Flex pipeline, DJ pipeline. And we know that Dujit's favorite pro is Gannon. So just so you know, that's Dujit's favorite. Doc says Heisner was a place used to have corn chips, super spicy. Man, I miss those. No thanks. Doc says mine is probably still Paige Pierce. Very interesting, Doc. Did you ever like Kristen Tatar or Kristen Lott more than Paige Pierce as far as personality or talent level, or was it Paige all the way, all the time? There aren't too many. Well, I should put it this way: there aren't many young people that Paige Pierce is their favorite. Let's see. Doc says, "Hey, Digit, you missed disc of the day, and Brad trying to answer questions about his fiance. Notice the trying. Yeah, like what's her favorite food order from Taco Bell? That's the important thing to remember, I'm sure. Not what values do we share, but favorite food order. Dude says, just got back from a weekend-long soccer tournament with my club in Cincy. Long weekend to say the least. Came in second in the tournament though, so take that. Heck yeah. How was goalkeeping? Do you have any diving saves or anything that you deflected off the crossbar? Doc says, glad you got back safe. Hope it was fun. Heisner says, Joey Buckets is my third. Anthony is my second. Then Ricky, number one. Heck yeah. Joey Buckets is a good choice. He's great. I don't remember if I picked him for one of my hold my bag like fantasy disc golf picks or not, but he's really great. It was really fun. I was rooting for Calvin to win Joey's first tournament that he won, which I think was last year or the year before. I was rooting for Calvin to win, but I definitely couldn't help but be really happy for Joey when he took it down and took the win. Because yeah, I want my favorite player to take the W, but I was happy for the success of Joey Buckets taking his first win like that. He like hit the cage on his upshot on the last hole. It's just sick, just awesome. Dude just says lots of baseball played and lots of Chipotle. Steph says, I say that because I played in a tournament with him on the same card and didn't realize it was him till I introduced myself. It was a mini. He was just visiting home and throwing that day for fun. That is amazing. That is amazing. I'll definitely have to say that Garrett Gurthey is near the top two as well. Not two, but as well, he's near the top because for a somewhat similar reason, I recognize him, but I just went to one of my two home courses in Gainesville, Florida, Northside Park, and there's Garrett Gurthey. Just like he was just like finishing up eating something, and he was like walking off to wash his hands, and I was like, "You're Garrett Gurthey?" He was like, "Yup, that's me." It was just very like mind blowing. It's really cool. He's really really nice. Doc says, "Loved Kristen Tatar, but I think I stuck with Paige, and I mean Missy is cool." Dude just says my top three are Gannon, Kyle Klein, and Niklas. Niklas is really good. I was a youth pastor in just outside of the town that Kyle Klein grew up in, Michigan. But he went to school out of town. So he grew up in Spring Lake, Grand Haven area, and I was a youth pastor in Spring Lake. But he didn't go to the Spring Lake school that I like took donuts to and was around quite a bit. He went to Granville. He went out of town. Excuse me. I never had a chance to like run into him or anything, but I was there at the same time that he was in like finishing up high school and about to go on the pro tour. I was a youth pastor in his hometown. So that's pretty cool. Dude just said it was pretty good. Not too many saves needed, LOL, but got them when I was asked. Heck yeah. The other keeper at the club hasn't been at the tournament, so I think I'm the starter at this point. There you go. I mean, you're just kind of probably looming over him anyway, so it's for the best. The talent must go on. Heisner says, Nicholas, love watching him throw. So good. Doc says, most of my favorite players are not ones I really expect to see win every week, like Zach Melton and Miss Frisbees. Yeah, Zach is pretty funny. He's good friends with Calvin, and they're pretty funny together, too. Dude says he's just so smooth with it. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Nicholas just throws such smooth shots. It's unreal. It was great to watch him win last year. That was really nice, watching him take a W. Ever had Double G's jerky? Heard is pretty decent. Yes, I have. And, you know, it's expensive. Like, I'll just say it. It's very pricey. I don't think it's worth the cost, but it is quite good. I'm not a huge jerky fan in general. I like it. I don't love jerky. So it didn't exactly blow my mind, but I could tell it was good. Like, I won't lie, he makes good jerky. I don't know that it's worth the price, but I don't know that any beef jerky is worth the price right now. So, like, I wouldn't necessarily pay for any jerky. But it was very good. I got some as a part of a tournament player pack, and I liked it quite a bit. Steph says, Emerson threw out of everybody's bag, didn't even bring discs. It was funny. That's great. I love that so much. Heisner says, what channel do you like watching? Steph says, channel 12. When I grew up, we had 3, 4, 10, 23, 47-1, 47-2, and 53. Those were the channels that we had growing up. Doc says, did you ever tried Young Sherlock yet? The 2026 one. Dude just says, what is that? Sorry if it sounds dumb. LOL. Is it a movie? I thought it was a show that was not out yet. Is it already out? Oh, it is a show. Is it out already? You are taller than him. That's good, Dujit. John Kelly says, hello, fellow discers. Nice. Oh, I didn't answer my favorite channel. So I don't tend to watch too much disc golf YouTube other than Jomez, where I watch my post coverage. Disc Respect, I think he does some fun challenges and everything. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I expect other people to watch disc golf content that I make when I don't watch disc golf content that other people make. But I just don't tend to. And I've been very busy, so I'm really like creating what I can and then staying busy with other stuff. So I'm not really watching even the Supreme Flight. Like I have a free subscription to the Disc Golf Network for the entire year because I was in the commercial. And I haven't, like I watched some of the live of day one, Friday. That's free anyway. So I didn't even get anything from my like free subscription for the year for the Supreme Flight Open. Like I just didn't watch any live disc golf. Just been too busy. Weekends are not when I have free time. Doc says no worries. It started out slow. What streaming service is that on? It's so hard to keep track of everything. Doc says Double G jerky is good, like the spice level. Of course, I bet you do. Dude just says, I mean, to be fair, all jerky is overpriced, not to mention a small homemade brand. Yes, I'm in agreement with that, and so I don't know that he is uniquely expensive. Um, I just think that it's quite good, but I don't know that it's so much better than others that I would go out of my way to buy it, or other than it being a disc golf thing and liking Garrett, which I do. I just, you know, don't know that it's on its own merits just so good that I would pay for it instead. But I also am just not buying jerky and haven't for several years now. Every time I go in through the store and I see some jerky and I'm like, that'd make a good snack. Never mind. I don't like that. I no longer like it. Doc says, Brad, I usually grab the pepper jerky at Dollar Tree. Great size for a round snack. Yeah, I usually go with granola bars for my round snacks. I like jerky. I really would like it. And I got a bunch of little mini Slim Jim things for Christmas, like 50 of them or 70 or something. So I always have like 5 of those in the bag and I have a couple to eat if I need them. But the granola bar does more, to help me through a round, really. Um, Heisner says, I had Double G's jerky. It's expensive, but it's just a normal beef jerky. Yeah, I don't know if he has particular flavors that are really really good that he is kind of put together for himself, because I did feel like the one jerky I had, I was like, okay, I'm impressed. Like this is really good, and like I've had jerky that I don't like, for sure, and I did think that his was quite good. But yeah, I imagine that it's just not so good that it stands above everything else and is worth paying more for. Doc says, growing up we didn't have digital channels. Yeah, that's what I was saying. My channels weren't digital; they were antenna. Like I adjusted the antenna and pointed in different directions and crossed the antennas until finally got some good signals. It was like WKAR and Fox and ABC and a couple of other channels that we got. WKAR was local, by the way. That's a Lansing, Michigan channel, which was really funny because growing up, I saw a show on WKAR and it had some high school students quizzing, and it's called Quiz Busters and answering questions. And I was like, oh, interesting, but whatever. I don't care too much. And I went up and watched Arthur instead. And then I ended up being on that show like 12 years later. It was just so random. Just random. Steph says Dollar Tree snacks are the best. Dollar Tree is still pretty good. Used to be so, so good. Dollar Tree, when I was 10, you could get a pound of Twizzlers for $1. And then it was 11 ounces, and then it was 8 ounces, and now it's like 5 ounces for $1. Inflation. Doc says, yeah, I binge watched it. Hard to beat the price of Dollar Tree. Yep. Dude just says, favorite channel has to be Alden's Vlogs channel. Foundation is second. I'm always glad that Dude is here because I forget that I do really like Alden's Vlogs quite a bit. They're very funny. And I just forget to shout them out. So yes, agreed. Doc says snacks where I work are insanely priced, but they are. Steph says that commercial, you definitely had the same FaceTime as Macbeth. I feel they see y'all as equals at this point. Thank you. That means a lot to me. It is really, really fun to see that commercial and see my face just pop up. It's really great. Doc says Amazon Prime. Okay. Yeah, I do have Prime, so yeah. I still need to watch season 2 of Fallout. The third Knives Out movie, Dead Man Alive, something, whatever. Wake Up Dead Man, that's what it is. Yeah, tons of shows and movies to watch, but it's one to keep in mind. Steph says Buc-ee's beef jerky is awesome. Oh, there you go. Shout out for Buc-ee's. I never really got the Buc-ee's bug. Like I've stopped there for gas. It's great. They have great bathrooms. I ate a breakfast sandwich once and I thought it was kind of gross, but everything else smells so good, and their roasted and candied nuts are good. And I don't really like peanuts or cashews all that much. Like they were very good. So they definitely do some things well. So I would believe their beef jerky being really good. Doc says there is some suggestive stuff, but no nudity. Wouldn't say it's and I wouldn't say it's unnecessary. Okay. Dude says, what is your go-to Chipotle order? Gosh, I haven't been to Chipotle in 8 years, 9 years since I've been to Chipotle. I don't know. No guac. It just destroys my insides. It's just too oily. I can't handle the guac at Chipotle for whatever reason. Their guac is just ugh. I can't do it. Lots of beef, lots of cheese. I don't know. I usually get a bowl at Chipotle. So yeah, beef, cheese, sour cream, lettuce. I suppose I'll be a little healthy. What about you, Dujit? I can't read this username, but they say I love you. So Doc, another fan of yours coming in. Doc says, Brad, if not a spicy boy, do not get spicy Slim Jims. They were too hot for me, but I'm old. Well, I already like some of the Slim Jims. I take a bite and I'm like, why is this like a little bit like there's a little kick to it? Like, why is this like why isn't it just a normal flavor? And it's not like it's bad or anything. I'm just like curious, like what, why? But the like I will never intentionally eat a food flavoring that is called spicy. Like I'll just be like, no thanks, I will opt out. No worries. Doc says, don't think I've ever been to Chipotle, and we have one. Doc says, oh Brad, you said you like 46, 1, 2, 3. I thought you meant digital channels. No. They were channels, but I wasn't saying channels I liked. I said channels that I got. Like the only channels that were received by our antenna were those channels. Like other channels existed, but those were the broadcasted channels that were available if your antenna could pick them up. They weren't digital channels. Doc said it's pretty good, not super spicy, or not super pricey, but not MCD prices. Gotcha. Doc says, Duja, if I'm out to eat, it's near Village Inn, my favorite pizza place, so I usually eat there instead. Isba says, what is the conversation? Apparently food right now. We're talking about food. Heisner says, what's the disc on the top left? Beef jerky and Pringles go-to snack for disc golf. Which top left? Your top left or my top left? If you're talking about this here, this is a Yakun Jiao. It's a very flippy piece of garbage, despite what the flight numbers say. Ugh. Doc says, haven't seen the ad yet. Have to look it up. Yeah, you do. Pringles snack packs are great, especially if you need a salty pick-me-up. Steph says, watching Knives Out right now. Knives Out was so good. I liked Knives Out quite a bit, but I really liked how Glass Onion, you could, if you paid really close attention, you could actually figure parts of it out. So if you haven't seen Glass Onion, I recommend it. I recommend watching it. And I recommend just trying to really like pay attention to details and see what you can figure out from the movie. It was very fun to pick up on some things because sometimes they do everything off screen and just reveal it to you, but not Glass Onion. They actually show some things on screen, and if you're actually watching, you can actually see what actually happened. Man. Dude says if I have snacks with me, it's usually like a chewy granola bar, maybe a couple Slim Jims. Favorite order is brown rice, black beans, steak, salsa, queso, guac, corn, lettuce, and shredded cheese. That actually sounds really good. I would maybe not do the salsa, and I would eat it like I would make that my order probably. I would definitely want to get queso for sure. Doc says Google that seems like Chipotle uses jalapenos in their guac. Interesting. So I didn't find it to be spicy. I just found that it wrecked my stomach. But maybe the jalapenos didn't help. Dude says I'm now realizing how much I get in a bowl. It is a lot. Brad is not a jalapeno guy. Not really. I have had jalapeno poppers that were pretty good, but I don't go out of my way to have jalapenos. I would rather have a banana pepper instead. Fill your bowl, man. Heisner says, I will give you a shout out on my next video. Hopefully it blows up. I hope so too. Not a good creator, but try my best every single day. You keep working at it and it will pay off. Keep putting in the effort. You'll get better at disc golf and you'll get better at editing and at creating videos. And I was very interested and I enjoyed watching your putt from every 10 feet video. And I know it was cold and dark and got really late. But I'm trying to remember. I think you cashed that 80 footer. I know you cashed the 70 footer. I watched that happen. That was very fun to watch. I enjoyed that. And I actually thought about doing it myself. So you might have inspired a future video of mine. Dude says that will lead to being a good creator. There you go. I'll have to check that video out too when you put it. Here we go. Final Billy coming in with the taco and chain emojis. Push taco and spin taco. Love it. And then turbo taco. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great. Dude just says all jalapenos are good even on their own. Not for me, but power to you. If you're one of those weird people that likes pickles too, enjoy. Doc says eating Mexican food without salsa is like playing disc golf without discs. Is it even possible? Yeah, it is. You just use other discs. Because eating Mexican food without salsa is like playing without an MVP jet. You can do it just fine as long as you don't rely on a jet to have a good time. Lake Bath says, what is going on today there, guy? Just hanging out. Had a tournament today that went pretty well. Ended up tied for second with my brother, which is always a good time to not lose to him. And yeah, having a good busy weekend. Brent says, sign up for Monday qualifier. I don't know why. Oh my gosh. Great. Now I have one more person who's going to beat me. Doc says, Brad definitely gets mild salsa at Taco Bell. Well, mild has great flavor, but medium is pretty good as well. So I do like the flavor of mild. I don't get it for the spice level. I get it because it has good taste to it. But I definitely get the mild sauce, sometimes even from the store. Doc says, Brent, I hope you win. Nice. Like Bath says, what is your rating? I don't know right now. I think it's 965 right now. I dropped a little bit. So I think that's my rating, but I was 970, 971 for most of last year. And then I lost some really good December rounds from a year ago, and I replaced them with rounds that I was sick for this last year. So that kind of tanked my rating a little bit. But yep, I was out there today just at a point series qualifier for a local Chain Reactions tournament and had a great time. Played at Kilbourne in Charlotte. Doc says, because you know that it's that time of year, HVAC people are not slammed. Get it in now while you can. There you go. I guess so. Dude says, I got myself a deal on a massage gun. They work wonders. You know, I feel like that is something just in general disc golf needs better, like physical therapy maintenance. Like there's just so little, people just don't know enough. And the ones that do, like Disc Golf Strong, I don't feel like, but the massage gun is really nice. Yeah. Probably get something for my aching old back. Ugh. Final Billy says, Halo Star Taco, 1000. It's a very slow taco, but I suppose it works. Doc says, it's a lot better now. When I started, it was all dad bods and warm-ups was like maybe a few putter shots. Well, I've always just, like, warm-up is something that I grew up learning about in high school, and they taught us how to, you don't just sit and stretch to warm up. Stretch after. You do the activity that you're wanting to do for your competition at a lower intensity to warm your body up toward that level. That's the main thing that's always helped me is throwing some shots and then getting lots of putts in so that when I throw my first full power shot, it's not surprising my body out of nowhere. But I don't stretch afterward enough. Steph says, just saw the ace from Heisner. It was a mega wooded hole. It was awesome. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Isabel says, after 30's back pain. Yep. I hit 30 and now I'm old. I get it. Just like Doc. Doc says, at my age, I can warm up or play. I can't do both. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Yep, it's brutal. No, I definitely am happy with my level of fitness and ability to play without pain. But like today, the tee pads were a little bit slippery and a few slips on the tees. I didn't hurt myself, but just coming home after 2 rounds today, and I'm like, man, like I'm tired. My feet are a little tired, like hurting a little bit. My ankles and calves and shins are just kind of like sore, tender, and achy. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm so old. Can't handle it. Isma says 30 isn't that old. No, I know it's not. It's just downhill from now. Just the rest of my life. Just no. I'm very happy. I definitely appreciate where I am in life, and I would not go back. I would only continue to go forward. And I'm very very happy with who I am and where I am and what I'm doing. But that includes my age. There are side effects, and I certainly can't just go for a mile run like I could in high school and be totally fine. I don't run enough. I could run a mile, but I wouldn't the next day. I wouldn't get out of bed. Dude just says 30 is ancient for amateur sports. Uh, it's so interesting how age protected divisions don't kick in until 40. But I like today I lost to a 15-year-old, and I'm like, he's really good. I'm 30. I got 10 more years till I'm age protected. It's crazy. Dude says, forgot to say I hit an ace with my Invader yesterday. 230-foot hole. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Isba says, don't scare me. OMG sounds painful. Uh, yeah. I mean, you get old, you're just in pain all the time. It's just what happens. But thankfully, I didn't get any injuries today out on the rainy tee pads. I did slip on a forehand, but I did birdie that hole. So it's fine. Doc says, Brad, want a few of us to go visit that kid for you? LOL. It's okay. It's okay. Interesting that Doc comes out to my defense for once. Slap him on the back and maybe take him to Chipotle. I knew it. That's what I thought. I knew it wasn't real. Doc not actually supporting me. That's more like it. No, you should. You should take him to Chipotle. He's very good. He's talented and he's a great kid. And I appreciate his attitude. He's not arrogant, which goes a long way. Like I was a teenager who was very competitive and I was arrogant, and I would not like me if I were to meet me when I was 14. Maybe by the time I was 15, that had begun to change. By the time I was 16, that changed a lot. I started to actually like grow up and mature. But yeah, not. Let's just say there are a lot of teenagers in disc golf that I've met that are talented. They know it, and they really think that they're the crap. Like they think they're the best, and that you are a lesser person. They just are very full of themselves. And I hope that they grow as people because I like to see their talent on tour, but I would like them not to be full of themselves because I just hate seeing pride at the top. Just hate it. Brent says Reedy is day before Monday qualifier. Reedy as in Reedy 3? Or Reedy just 1 round? What day is that? I might actually be able to play in that. Because I'm thinking Reedy 3 is not what you're talking about. I'm thinking that's April. Oh, Ransky 3 is March 14th. Okay, chain reactions in my list. I'll submit it to the board of directors. Play. Oh, did I freeze? Okay, it looks like it's working. I think I froze for a minute. Isabel says, as an 18-year-old, maybe I'm turning 30 next year too. Brutal. Brutal. Hits hard. Good luck. Brent says, are you doing that Sunday? I don't know. We'll see. first round of spring, I'll do it if you do it with me. We'll see, but I would not be able to do it in the morning. It'd be afternoon. Doc says, wait till you see this kid coming up named Nico. Kid is 12 and already committed to the sport. It's crazy. I bet. Yeah, well, I'll let you know, Brent. I just don't know. The last time I looked at tournaments, I don't think it was scheduled yet, and then I think Nolan scheduled out all the next series. So I haven't really thought about that day. Doc says you have to grab a book and be reading it ready for a video picture. A video picture? You mean like a movie or a GIF? What are you saying? Video picture? Doc says, good luck again, Brent. You got this. Nice. Well, it is 9 o'clock, so I will be wrapping things up in a couple minutes. So make sure that you throw a couple or last few comments and everything if you have them. Definitely make sure that you leave any more questions and comments before I wrap up the stream. I appreciate all of you being here. It's been great to chat. And shout out once again to Mrs. Bhirdietime for getting an ace, not only before I aced this year, but her first ace after only playing 2 full rounds of disc golf. And just insane. 40 disc golf holes. By the time she reached the 40th hole, she'd aced. Doc says, all Brent does for you, come on, do it for Brent. Maybe if Brent pays for my tournament. Did you give Mrs. Bhirdietime the disc that she aced with? I already had given it to her, so yes. Good question. Heisner says, bye-bye. Steph says, Heisner, sick ace. John Kelly says, have a good night all and a good week on the course. Isabel says, really? OMG, our queen. It was really awesome to see. And keep your eyes peeled because I caught it on video and it will come out by the end of the month. Dude says, accidentally hit Steph's message. Sorry. Sorry, Steph. Steph says, almost have 40 rounds this year. Dang. That's great. I don't. I have maybe 20. Final Billy says, greetings. Brent says, I'd pay. Isabel says, OMG, thank you. I'll watch it. Heck yeah. Yep, it'll come out end of the year, so keep your eyes peeled. I'll definitely mention it on the live streams, coming up before I drop that video. Doc says, what if Brad takes a while to ace and it just eats and eats at him? Could it be a great year for us? Wow. I just hope I ace by my birthday or on my birthday. That would be really great. Or at least in like birthday month, that would be really cool. Steph says, it's coming. I feel like it is. I feel like this is the longest stretch of hitting metal without acing that I've ever had. Usually I don't go months without an ace, like maybe 2 months without an ace. But I think the last one I got was like October, and it was at Bailey with a zone. Heisered it in and aced with it. I think that was my last ace. So I haven't aced in quite some time since then, but I've hit metal several times. Cage, band, top of the basket, pole. Like I just haven't aced yet. Just seems like it's been a while. Final says, have a good round, guys. The ace is on the horizon. I hope it is, Steph. I hope it is. Doc says, hey, when you get older, it happens to all of us, Brad. It's true. Final Billy says, champion rock, 0000. It's a weird flight path. All right, guys. Love you all. Peace out. Catch you guys later. Yeah. Have a good one.